garden in our business, and we're no longer having to chase butterflies. We now generate leads, and we attract resources and people by who we are, not what we do. And this is the move. This is the power of this class today. Like, man, Knolly, this class is worth like so much money. Like
Oh,
seriously, we're giving it to them for free, but this is like worth money. Like there's value. Like I really want y'all to know that what I'm teaching you today has great value.
yeah. When I saw the
Engaging.
title, I thought the same thing when I saw the title, what you're going to teach. And we made a commitment not to hold anything back anyway. But when I saw it, I said, "Man, this is a big money class right here." And we've spent tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on our personal training and development. And so, it might seem like these, like this morning. Remember that exercise you asked me to do, Artemis, where I reimagined my childhood
Mm-hmm.
and write it down. So I've been procrastinating on doing it, but I finally did it today, and it took me, 10 minutes or whatever, 8 minutes, whatever. But this is, even though it took you 20 minutes to do that and 8 minutes for me to do that, this is a lifetime in the making, really. So this is 55,000 hours of training. It just pours out of you at this point. So I'm excited to hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. And feel free to type in the chat questions you have. I made the class short so I could answer questions at the end and support you all. Also, if you want to work with me as a business development coach in building your personal brand identity aligned in your zone of genius, creating promotion plans, I probably have room for at least one person, maybe one, maybe two. I don't know. I'm phasing things out, but I want to let you know that if you do choose to work with me one-on-one and build something like this, I'm available. Just reach out to me after class. Um, and this is powerful. Let's jump in. Let's dive right in, because you may want to take notes here today, because there is some powerful material that remember, writing is a psychoneuromotor activity. And when we write and journal every day, we're building new neural pathways, which means we're enhancing our divine mind. And so, when you look at the most successful people in the world, they have notepads everywhere. They have whiteboards everywhere. The people that make 250K, those are the typers. The millionaires and billionaires are the writers. And there's a reason for that, because writing is a psychoneuromotor activity, and it activates your higher brain function. It connects the left and right brain. It connects kinesthetic psychoneuromotor with mind, with vision. And so it's good to be writing these things down now and then, especially when you're getting high levels of truth and wisdom. Let's dive in. All right. So after doing this for about 6 months, I kind of have it down now.
Yeah, and we are live on YouTube. We are, I got my little act together too. So good job.
Yeah. And I want to give thanks to Knolly Williams for being in my life and for co-teaching and being our leader. He's our noble leader. He's the man that's been doing the work and paving the way for all of us to be here. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for his genius, his still genius, his knowledge of systems integration, leverage, and building the team and the dream. So thank you, Knolly. I'm really grateful.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And so this class is stop chasing leads and create a crystal clear brand identity, and have leads and resources start chasing you. So how many of you in your life and business, love what you do, but you feel like you're on this hamster wheel and you're just chasing people every day, And that's what we call a red orange level. But there's nothing wrong with chasing leads. You also want to, at the time that you realize there is another way, there's a ladder, you can get off the rebounder and start creating a brand identity. And that's really what this is about. And this is for all of us. Even Knolly has ways of refining his brand and building his brand more. And I've been coaching him a lot on that these past few years, because we all can learn from this and we all can build from this wherever we are on the lighthouse, even all the way up to green level and blue level. They're doing different brand strategies. Note, this marketing stuff is not intuitive. How many of you have realized that? You do require a mentor, a system, and a community to succeed at the Wolf Lighthouse. And I just want to remind you all that marketing is not intuitive. Marketing is based on the laws of psychology and persuasion, but also when you learn marketing from Knolly and I, we're integrating wealth dynamics, which is based on the laws of nature and people and personalities and profiling. And so when you combine like wealth dynamics with marketing, you have a ladder of success. So you're not on the rebounder anymore. You're climbing a ladder. A ladder denotes like a step-by-step process, a system. And this system is based on the Brand Triad. So Trey came up with this really cool term, create your Dymaxion Brand Triad. Dymaxion is a word from Buckminster Fuller, and he coined the term Dymaxion for the stacking of triangles to create the Buckminster spheres. And so creating your Dymaxion Brand Triad and vision starts with you. So right here, we have your personal brand identity, and then we have your product brand identity, and then we have your company brand identity. And even if you're at red level on the Wolf Lighthouse, even if you're just beginning, or let's say you're orange level, or let's say you've already built a brand, you do want to see and visualize your brand triad in the making. So for example, Knolly.com, Knolly started as a realtor 15 years ago, approximately. He became a listing specialist. He did, 10 deals a month, 1,000 deals as a listing specialist. And later in his career, after building his personal brand as a listing specialist and top realtor in Austin, he built Success with Listings book and product suite. So Knolly went from his personal brand identity to his product brand, which is successwithlistings.com, Success with Listings book. And then how many products did you create after that, Knolly? A whole ton.
Yeah. Just and it just kind of flows out of you, and really the products become answers to questions. People say, "Hey, how do I do this?" or "What is that?" or "How did you do this? How did you overcome this?" So they're basically solutions to problems that agents are facing.
Exactly. So before Nolly had the resources and the money to build out all those products, leverage, and systems, he needed influence. He needed impact. He needed to build his personal brand and his database so that he was ready to build his product brand and then ready to launch his company brand. Now, for realtors watching on the call, your personal brand is you. It's still you. Your product brand is your houses, and your company brand is your brokerage. But there's all different ways to leverage those and make more money within your homes, through upsells and side sells. For example, the house I sold at Keegan's, the clients paid me $1,000 to do some upgrades with the house because I'm trained in upgrading the house. So I hotboxed it, Vostu'd it, made it a crystal palace of clean, beautiful perfection. And so that was a product I sold on top of the home I sold. And then this brand triad is how every single entrepreneur develops success beyond 8 figures. You're looking at it right here. So if you have a dream of developing a 7-figure business, build a personal brand identity. If you have a dream of building an 8-figure business, build a personal brand and then a product brand and then a company brand around your zone of genius. Learn how to build a business around you and not try to fit you in your business. So moving up the Wealth Lighthouse, why do we build a personal brand, and when do we build a personal brand? And it's going to be right around red to orange, is when we start looking at our personal brand identity. Now, the beauty of a personal brand identity is that when it's established in the marketplace and we're now attracting butterflies and bees, instead of chasing butterflies, chasing leads, we're now in the experience of resources and leads come to us naturally. That's a well-developed personal brand, and that's yellow level in the lighthouse. And the reason we want to create a personal brand identity in our business is so that we can move from orange to yellow. Orange level is consistent income. Deals are coming in every month. We're putting money away in savings. We're measuring our money. We're tracking our money. We're committing to conduct. We're building our business. At orange level, you're doing pretty good. And yet you feel like you're on a hamster wheel. You feel like you're on a rebounder and you're just bouncing up and down. And you're like, I know there's a better way. Orange level, you're also dependent upon others for money. At yellow level, you're no longer dependent on people for money. That's the paradigm shift. That's the quantum shift. And at orange level, you're pretty much stationary. You're driving a bus. So you're stuck in the driver's seat. At orange level, you're also complimented for doing good work. You know, you are a great realtor, you are a great entrepreneur, you do good work, but you just can't seem to move up or grow to where you want to grow until you start establishing your niche, your identity, your influence, your impact. You start harnessing the power of wealth dynamics and the brand identity to move up to yellow, which is now you're a designer. You have freedom to move. You're no longer just driving a bus. You now have promotion plans. You have teams. You have leverage. You have identity. Instead of you chasing people, people and resources are now chasing you. And all of this, guys, is consciousness. This is actually states of business consciousness that Roger developed and quantified up the Wolf Lighthouse through 7 levels and 4 signs. And so this is, this is why you would want to build a personal brand identity. Now, even if you don't have consistent cash, even if you're at red level and you're making just enough money each month to have 0, you can still invest time in building your brand identity. You just don't have as much resources. So you want to measure your money, commit to conduct, get into your passions. In the Millionaire Master Plan, if you're at red level in your business, first thing Roger does is say, get in your passions. What are your passions in business? Because you're so scattered, you're so ungrounded. Your head's just above water right here. So you need to get into your passions. You need to start building your passions into what you do. And you need to start creating consistent leads and consistent cash. So the reason Knolly teaches do the 2 and in Mentorship Masters, we have a 30-day checklist for those of you in our group. And we have systems and leverage, is because that's what gets you from red to orange. Is that you need to get into your passions, get into discipline, and get to consistent cash so that you can move up the lighthouse from red to orange to yellow. Now, remember, Wealth Dynamics is not a profiling system. It's a dynamically integrated business development system based on the 4 seasons and the 5 elements. So these energies of spring, summer, fall, and winter are in your body. They're in your nervous system. They're in the expression of business and the behaviors we do in business. So this is a highly dynamic system of business development based on the laws of nature. That's why it's good to really dive in and learn wealth dynamics, because you're learning how God creates life, flow, and abundance, not just how personalities create life, flow, and abundance. But this is based on nature, guys. This is why I love it. Use wealth dynamics to build a business uniquely designed around you. For example, when your brand identity is completed and you're out in the marketplace doing promotions and building your brand, learn to build your 90-day promotion plan in alignment with your zone of genius. So a steel genius is going to build promotions differently than a blaze genius, even though both will use systems. Their attention will be slightly focused in different areas. A steel genius will build leads and leverage leads slightly different than a blaze genius, even though they both will use systems and leverage. And so how we build our promotion plan really should be uniquely designed around us. If you don't stand for something, you may fall for anything.
Hey, Artemis.
Yeah.
I don't think that go back to the previous slide. I don't think that can be overemphasized. Most people just do not understand this concept of lead generating around your profile, around your zone of genius.
Yeah.
And if you will lead generate to your genius, not only will it become fun again, it will become exciting. It will actually be in flow. It will be in
Yes.
flow. And so many people read the books and they're like, oh, well, so-and-so said to do this. Well, what zone is that person in? And does it match your zone? Very, very critical, very, very critical for success.
Yeah. So whereas, a steel genius will build leads through leverage and systems and duplication, whereas a blaze genius will build leads through people and more video and more connection and collaboration. So one is an extroverted lead generation activity, one is more of an introverted lead generation activity. And the beauty of a 90-day promotion plan is looking 3 months out versus looking 1 month out. And so creating a 90-day promotion plan with leverage in harmony with your zone of genius is really powerful. I started my promo plan for my real estate business July 1st. I've attracted 89 leads, and I've got, half a dozen people working with my lender, half a dozen people in my pipeline for buying. And I set a very clear targeted goal for that 90-day promotion plan. And the cool thing about a promo plan is it takes you out of the red level hustle and moves you into thinking like a yellow level player. Because remember, as you build out your brand identity, you are going to start seeing yourself differently. You're going to start thinking differently, and you're going to start acting differently. Man, that I'm getting chills all up and down when I just said that. As you build a brand identity, see, most of us don't even know who we are in the marketplace. We're trying to be someone else. But when we start defining our identity, we put a dent into the marketplace, and we get clearly defined in our passion, purpose, partnerships, and brand. And then we start thinking and acting like that way. Success is inevitable because you're thinking and acting differently. And most importantly, you are seeing and visualizing as well. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. How many people have heard that before? What do you stand for? It should be in your brand. It should be in your niche. It should be in your passion. It should express through all of your video, email, and copy. Because orange level, you're just a worker. You're just a commodity. You know, if you're just a realtor, you're another commodity. But if you're a brand identity, you have leverage. You have something you stand for that is not just good marketing, it's good attraction. It's magnetizing the people that you want to serve into your business. Build your own personal brand. Move from competing against others to collaboration with your passions moving at the speed of spirit. So personal brand identity is a container for spirit to work through your passions. A personal brand identity is a container for the marketing to start taking its own message and power and clarity to put a dent in the marketplace. And that's not the best like connotation, but identity. You know, it's like you have a definition, you've defined yourself. Building your brand takes character. What is character? Character is the ability to follow through with your decision long after the excitement and the emotion of the moment has passed. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road, because some of you have been chasing shiny objects or trying to, get leverage without and confusing activity with accomplishment. And maybe you need to build some character first. But maybe you need to build a vision board, a dream board. You need to do some thinking and some visualizing and maybe you need to get a coach like me and ask tough questions so you can get clear on who you are, because you're going to need character to build a brand. It's not going to happen in a year. You need character. Character is the ability to follow through with your decision long after the excitement and the emotion of the moment has passed. So for example, steel geniuses will tend to move through the motions with more, discipline, whereas blaze and dynamite geniuses are all over the place. But sometimes steel geniuses can get stuck in the processes without seeing the big picture. So what a steel genius needs is they need that vision, and they need the reminder of what the vision is. And they also need a community of other steels helping them grow. Whereas what a blaze and dynamo genius needs is structure. And so each genius has different natural intrinsic forms of character. But if you're a dynamo or blaze genius, you definitely need a mentor system and community. You need structure around you to keep you growing up the Wolf Lighthouse. Get clear on your passions, your purpose, your partnerships, and what you stand for. How many of you are clear on what your number one passion is right now? How many can speak your purpose out loud with deep feeling and alignment in your heart? How many people do you know who you want to partner with? Get clear, guys. Like all of this is translated into your brand, by the way. But wait a minute, Artemis. I'm a steel genius. I don't like being out front. I want to work behind the scenes, so I don't need a brand identity, right? Wrong. All 4 zones of genius have a valuable asset, and that is you. All zones of genius can build a brand identity. Now, they may lead gen differently. They may leverage differently. Steel multiplies, blazes magnify, but you are your brand. You are. All of you get to have a personal brand identity. Even if you already have a company and a brokerage, you still have a personal brand identity. because your personal brand is ubiquitous and lasts forever. Your companies come and go, but your personal brand lasts forever. So let me ground this a little bit, and let me show you Peter Diamandis' website. So here's one of my favorite people on the planet as an entrepreneur, Peter Diamandis, diamandis.com. So when you go to Peter's website, what's the first thing you see? You see Peter right here. This is Peter. He's the brand. But then what Peter did is he started creating products, books. And then what he did from the product brands, he started building companies. Abundance 360, Singularity University, XPRIVE. So you can see this brand triad perfectly embodied in Peter Diamandis's personal brand, product brands, and company brands. You see how that works? Every single person goes through this journey if they have great scale and leverage. And what did Peter do? He started with himself. Now Peter is a blaze genius, by the way. So he has a stronger personal brand identity. Whereas like when you look at Mark Zuckerberg, he's a steel mechanic. But you type in markzuckerberg.com, you go to his Facebook personal page profile. Mark Zuckerberg still has a personal brand identity, and it's facebook.com. But you still see him. And then his company, his product brand, his company brands is all around him. So even if you're steel, you still have a personal brand identity. So that's kind of grounds it in real life there. All right. 3 questions for your brand. Who am I? What am I? And why am I right for you? So when I used to own a raw food manufacturing company before I became a realtor. And before I met Knolly, I had 15 SKUs and 28 Whole Foods, 10 central markets, and about 12 natural grocers. And I worked with a lot of people in branding, and there's millions of dollars that go into product labeling and packaging. And I learned these 3 questions from a great man named Tony Luciano. And Tony was walking me through Whole Foods one day, and he was showing me, we were looking at a 4-foot set of manufactured food products. And we were looking at the different labels. And Tony was saying, here's what these labels show us. Who am I? What am I? Why am I right for you? Now, for those of you watching, which one of those questions is most important to your customer, your client? As a realtor, which one of those questions is most important? Knolly says number 3. Why am I right for you? Exactly. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so communicating that why in your brand shows up in the tagline, it shows up in your videos, it shows up in your promotion plans, it shows in the passion, the purpose. And so it's like a lot of this stuff seems disjointed, but now you can see, hey, passion, purpose, and partnerships is connected in these questions. Who am I? What am I? Why am I right for you? Here's my personal brand as a realtor in Austin, Texas. Austin's premier conscious realtor, helping you buy or sell your home with confidence, integrity, and excellence. Just ask Artemis. Who am I? I'm Artemis. What am I? I'm a realtor. Why am I right for you? Because I'm conscious and I love bringing confidence, integrity, and excellence into every transaction. And I offer a concierge of exceptional services that really capture my knowledge, expertise, and experience. Here's a woman I've been working with in the Northeast and Metro West, Boston. Here's Kathy. So here's Kathy's personal brand identity, kathymcstay.com. Here's my boy Kenneth in Louisiana, in Lafayette, Louisiana. Now in Lafayette, you actually have to put your telephone number on every brand, and every state has a different laws and regulation for marketing advertising. So in Louisiana, when you brand yourself, you actually have to put your number on it. Those Louisianans are a little crazy like that. So here's Kenneth Trahan's logo. I really like the way that turned out. Here's his tagline, ktrealestatepro.com, and here's the call to action.
So Artemis,
yeah,
around these, kind of explain what you actually took these people that didn't have an identity and do like a questionnaire or ascertain information.
Yeah,
What's the process?
Yeah, this is a process. So I took these people through about 2 months of coaching around passion, purpose, partnership, logo design, brand design, marketing, direct sales marketing practices. And then from this, they start developing promotion plans that basically take them as as a worker and move into the player, and then the promotion plans moving around their wealth dynamics profile and their zone of genius.
And I'm sure when they have this, it really boosts their confidence, and it gives them a little bit, of a higher step, if you will, and it gives their clients more comfort in working with them as well.
Yeah, that's really insightful, Knolly, because I intuitively knew that, but man, I experienced it after
Yeah.
they built their brand with me. Like this is them, like this is Ken. This is all Kenneth Strahan. The logo, the words, the website, his photo. He is the personal brand for his
Mhm.
community in
And,
Lafayette.
and these look spectacular. And the reason I'm so excited, you and I didn't really even talk about you doing this kind of business, because it wasn't something you actually took me through. I guess because I already had all kinds of
You
crazy
already did
stuff.
it. Yeah.
but the interesting thing is when a person goes through this, a lot of times people will let maybe false pride get in the way and say, well, who am I to try to create, I'm not. But if you think about it from a standpoint of love, let's just go there for a minute. It's a loving thing to do, to show a person why they should work with you. That's a loving thing to do. Why is that loving? Well, it's loving because you're helping to ease and belay their fears. See, people have fears around working with you or doing business with you or engaging with you, or if they can trust you. People have trust issues, and so you help to belay their fears and help them to make the right decision, which is to hire you to sell their home or to buy a house.
Correct.
Um, and you do this through a little extra effort of creating an identity. So I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, these are really professional. Like all of these are done with marketing, direct sales marketing, branding, logo design, all the things I've been learning. And I was like, and Nolly, you mentioned like you didn't know I was gonna do this. I didn't know I was gonna do this. You know why I did it? Because it's a huge problem in our marketplace that I can solve. It's like I know how to get people from orange to yellow and yellow to green. I'm trained, I'm a performance consultant in wealth dynamics. I have the knowledge systems and tools, but I also have the style, the artistry, and the spirit. And it's a blend of both left brain and right. I know which questions to ask, but I also know how to make it look professional as a marketer and create marketing strategies that have leverage. So this is a problem that I began to start solving, and I realized that as I was solving this problem, I began to see their character emerge. Remember we talked about character. Nolly mentioned confidence. Like I began to see these people raise their level of confidence and take different actions in their life because they built an identity. Um, and it is part of the brand triad. It's something that you can do, and it's a good idea to do it. Here's an example of someone who is not trained in brand identity and marketing, just so you can see the contrast. This is like an amateur. These are professionals. No judgment against this one. As a matter of fact, Adriana updated her banner, once we shared it last time. Um, So key elements of your brand and your brand banners is your logo, your headshot, your website, and your tagline. And as you launch your brand banner through multiple social media platforms to create brand continuity, and we'll talk about that in a sec, you also need a polished and professional bio, values, and tagline to capture the emotion of the customer. So these are the elements that we start to pool together, which is the logo, the headshot, the website, the tagline. Create brand continuity. So here's my Instagram banner, my Facebook banner, my YouTube banner, and my LinkedIn banner. And I also have a Twitter banner. Now, am I trying to use all these platforms simultaneously? No. I'm just creating continuity. And then right now, my focus is Facebook and building my brand. Now, I also have presences in these other areas, but I'm generating leads and converting clients on Facebook. So when you create brand continuity, you are not a chicken with your head cut off trying to build lead gen on all these systems. No, you choose one, yet you have continuity of brand everywhere. And this cost me 80 bucks on Fiverr. You know, once I had all the pieces in place, the logo came first, and then the tagline, and then the website, and then, launching KV Core, but then continuity. And remember, it takes character to fill out these brands. And so it's still You build the brand, you create continuity, and then you create promotion plans and get to work. So once the brand is completed, how long does it take to become a celebrity? About 2 to 5 years. Are you willing to do the work to get to yellow? It's humbling, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this isn't just an overnight success. Like, in order for you to become a celebrity and define your niche, it takes 2 to 5 years.
Hey, Artemis,
Yeah.
let me jump in on that. So one of the things that I've found in becoming a celebrity, which is very critical to success, in my opinion, it's helped me, is that it's very difficult to turn off. So, for example, about 5 years ago, I tried to retire from real estate with the full intention of retiring. You and I, you remember this, Artemis. And even today, I was out walking, and somebody just, I'm out walking. I don't even have a shirt on, no cowboy hat. Okay, I'm in the neighborhood, and a lady's like, "Hey, aren't you the realtor?" Now, this is 5 years since I've sent out a postcard or a marketing piece or anything like that. And people, so once you become that celebrity, like Artemis is saying, it may take 2, 3 years, whatever it takes. But once you become that, it is so difficult to turn that off. There's very few places I can go around Austin dressed like this where people don't like, man, that's the guy that sells houses. Well, I haven't actively marketed in 5 years at least. And so the cool thing about that on the flip side is if I wanted to take over a particular area, like become Austin's luxury agent, guess what? I could do it in about 90 days because I put in all the back work, like the foundation's already there. So if I jump back in the game, granted, I don't wait too long. You could wait too long to get back in, to have a comeback, if you will. But once it's not a once and done, but it is something that will carry you through the rest of your career if you do the work now. Very critical to understand.
And Knolly did a lot of this stuff intuitively. And now that he's learning wealth dynamics, you can see, Knolly, you were following a system. And I think that's so beautiful. That shows that Knolly knew his lane. He knew his personality profile. He was staying as much as he could in his lane, but he also had all the rap industry and the understanding of marketing and branding built in to the real estate business model. So you were doing all this intuitively. You just didn't know you were following a system like I'm teaching today. And so it's a beautiful thing. And that's why, wherever your passion purpose is, make sure it's in your brand because you can't turn it off. Here's the cool thing though. You can always keep reinventing yourself and just build from your brand. It's like, how many times have you reinvented yourself now in the past 5 years?
Many. In fact, when for years I was the short sale guy. And now people don't even know that. They don't even know. I have some of my agents. I had one ask me 2 weeks ago, like, have you ever done a short sale? Look, I wrote the book, Success with Short Sales. Gary Keller wrote the foreword to the book back in the day. And this is all I did not all I did, but it's probably 80% of what I did for years. And it got to the point where I was like, man, nobody's going to think I can do a regular deal. Like my clients were like, hey, do you only work short sales or could you sell my house? I was like, no, I could sell your house. Well, now people don't even remember because I rebranded myself when I wrote Success with Listings. Once the short sale boom was over, I went back to listings, regular listings, and I wrote this book. And now people don't even remember I did short sales. So people have a very short memory. So I can reinvent myself even today as the luxury guy. And then they'll be like, at first they'll be like, oh, that's Knolly. He's doing luxury now. But in 6 months, they'll be like, oh, that Knolly does luxury. He's a luxury guy. They won't even remember that I wasn't that.
Yeah.
So but you got to do the work in the beginning.
Yeah. Build your personal brand identity, build your niche, build out your niche. And the cool thing is this is not a linear process, and yet it is a definition of brand. You get to define yourself, you get to build an identity and then fill it out. And know that once you fill out your brand identity and you achieve that celebrity status, you'll then start building products that will give you leverage. And those products will grow as God is directing you and guiding you. And I do believe one of the reasons Knolly was so successful with the branding background is because he was also praying and asking for guidance every step of the way. Every step of the way, he kept asking God, what next? What next? And what is God in Wealth Dynamics? That's spirit. That's the fifth element. That's why. Who, what, when, where, and why. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so bring your passion, your purpose, and your why into your brand. And what you require is vision, self-awareness, audios every day, chosen by your mentors. A lot of you on this call have stinking thinking. You have limiting beliefs. You have your subconscious mind getting in the way. Get a coach, get a mentor, get the right audios. Not any audio, I'm telling you, the right audios in the right order. Audios every day. Get a mentor. If it's real estate, come join us at Mentorship Masters. Go find a mentor who's been there, done that, and get plugged into a system that has proven success, hopefully also based on the laws of nature, so that it's ubiquitous and universal. And then finally, join a community. So in order to become a celebrity, when you have all these things in place, it is guaranteed. You will build your brand and become successful. If you're not doing one of these things, you will fall short in some areas. If you don't know who you are and your zone of genius, you may be doing too many things in the wrong order. If you don't have a mentor, you may be taking on too much risk in your business. If you don't have a system, you don't have a ladder. If you don't have a community, you don't have that sense of belonging, fellowship, and support that's so vital to all of us to succeed. So that no man succeeds unto himself, and even still geniuses have teams. And this is the beauty of having all these pieces in place. And if you think this is hard or this is going to take a long time, no, just start with your vision and self-awareness. I kind of put these in order intuitively. Like, just start with, where do you see yourself in 2 to 5 years? Okay, how aware are you of yourself? What have you done your Wealth Dynamics profile? Do you know your strengths and weaknesses? Okay, now are you listening to audios every day? Okay, now that you have these 3 things in place, now go get a mentor. Okay, now that you have a mentor, plug into their system. Okay, now that you plugged into their system, let's jump in. Let's do this together. When we're climbing up the Wealth Lighthouse, guys, we do it together. We're all supporting each other to become the light of God. Roger chose the lighthouse because we are all lighthouses in the making, but there are steps that we are overlooking sometimes to become the light of God that never fails. To become self-luminous, we have to make these steps and grow up this lighthouse. And so if you're a yellow level player, guess what you have with you? Orange level workers on your team. If you're a green level performer, and you're a green level performer is someone who's beating a drum, and they've built a system and a business model that's completely asset and leveraged, but they're beating that drum. They're keeping all the players playing to the same tune. And guess what that green level performer has? A bunch of yellow level players. Guess what, guys? We all need each other to grow. That's why we got to have community. And hopefully community around purpose, passion, and partnership. Let's go a little deeper. Are you guys ready to go cosmic? What holds us back from being a brand identity? Like, what are the 5 deadly fears that hold you back from being a celebrity? And you know what? As long as you have these things in place, you'll overcome all these fears with ease and grace. If you have these 6 things, yeah.
Go into presenter mode so we can see the full screen.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Number 1, the fear of rejection. Number 2, the fear of being seen. Number 3, the fear of judgment and criticism. Number 4, the fear of lack. And number 5, the fear of missing out. So all 5 of these things are insidious. What's insidious mean? They proceed secretly. They keep us safe. Remember, fear is not bad. We all have a survival archetype. It's called our ego, which is comprised of 4 levels: child, victim, saboteur, and prostitute. And I'll do some advanced trainings on this later. But these fears that we have are not wrong. They're there to keep us safe. But when you have a mentor system and community, you can climb up the lighthouse safely. So the fear of rejection transforms into knowing who you are, clear identity, knowing why you serve, and how you deliver exceptional value to your marketplace. If you know who you are and how you serve, it doesn't matter who rejects you. Next, they're not for you. Next, next. When you have a promotion plan and you're generating 100 leads a month, it doesn't really matter who says no. Next, they're not a fit. The fear of rejection transforms into knowing who you are, why you serve, and how you provide value, and you go out and you do the promotion. Fear of being seen, especially to large audiences. Now, we all have a fear of being seen. If we think we don't, just put you in front of a room of 1,000 people and we will feel your solar plexus get tight. The fear of being seen transforms into achieving confident, successful, powerful brand identity. When you have an unconscious competence in your zone of genius and you just love passionately teaching what you teach, like you put Knolly in front of a room of 1,000 agents, he turns alive. Like Knolly gets excited when you put him in front of real estate agents. Do you know why? Because he's confident. He's already been successful and he has a clear brand identity. He's not afraid of being seen by 1,000 agents. You know, so the fear of being seen is natural, but you will overcome it. Fear of judgment and criticism, transforming into a pleasing personality and loving everyone you see just as they are. Now, this particular fear is the most challenging fear to overcome because the mind is split. And if you're living your life from your intellect, your mind, you are trapped in judgment, whether you know it or not. I'm going to say that again. If you're living your life from your mind and not your heart, you are trapped in judgment. Look at our politics, our ecology, our economy, and our society is just, it's enmeshed in this judgment and criticism because that's red and orange level people. We have too many red, orange level humans on the planet. Why do I love wealth dynamics and what we're doing here today? Because we need more entrepreneurs on the planet. We need more independent thinkers. We need more people who are business owners, creating identities who move from competition to collaboration. There will be a critical mass. Those 144,000 in the Bible, those are high-level entrepreneurs. We're talking people who have overcome these fears and are standing up for something that's sacred and divine and spiritual in them. I'm getting on my soapbox right now, but this is my vision for our planet. Entrepreneurs leading the way. And then a lot of this drama we see happening around COVID and politics will dissolve, not by what we do, by who we are, with clear brand identities. And of course, number 4, the fear of lack will transforming into the knowing that God is the source of our supply. Leads, listings, and clients come into our life easily and effortlessly. And there is a great divine surplus flowing into my life now. Lack is an illusion. There is more than enough, but you want to make sure you're following a system and you want to move up the lighthouse strategically without taking on too much risk. Even though there's more than enough out there for you, you don't want to take on too much risk. And so you need a mentor system and community to overcome this fear of lack. Once you have a system, a brand, and a promotion plan that spits out clients and dollars, there's no more fear of lack. There's no more fear of running out of leads when you build a system. It may take you 2 to 5 years to do that. So build it. And the fear of missing out, knowing that your clear vision and having a mentor system and God-directed community will help you eliminate that fear of missing out. You need to be very careful who you listen to. So 3 steps to building influence and impact in your marketplace. Number 1, create your brand identity. Number 2, relaunch your brand to all social media profiles and create brand continuity. And number 3, launch a promotion plan aligned with your Wealth Dynamics profile and zone of genius that keeps you in flow. And these are this is what I covered today. Now, this is just an introductory class really into what is brand identity, why brand identity, and then how is it going to help us grow up the Wealth Lighthouse. Make sure for those of you watching right now, you are listening to the Millionaire Master Plan. You have done the wealth quiz. You know where you are on the Wealth Lighthouse. You are committing to the pre-flight checklists, and then also get a flow consultation if you need one, or if you want to build with me, you're welcome to reach out to me and private message, and I may work with you. I don't know. I'm very selective in who I work with now. So um, the power of this is freedom. And just know that this is an introductory class. So as you start building your brand identity and launching in the marketplace, the next thing to do is to become an attractive character. And so if once I build out a 4-part series, the next thing I would talk about, Knolly, is promotion plans and attractive character, and how to, like what Russell teaches in .com Secrets, the attractive character. Like you're to become a celebrity, you need to become an attractive character. And there are certain things that I'm doing with my brand identity that I'm loving, by the way. I'm just doing what I love, which is talking about real estate and houses and home, health, family, and freedom, and just bringing clients in by just being the attractive character. And this is where a lot of those fears come up, why I addressed them today, like the fear of being seen, the fear of judgment, the fear of rejection. Those things will actually come up until you just dig deeper. Like you find that power source in you, that even though when you feel the fear, you're going to do the video anyway. And you might do the video through fear, but you're tapped into God. You know who you are, you know why you serve. So there's many more things to do. Don't think that you got the whole recipe today. There's other aspects of, what to do next. Like, now that I have a brand identity, how do I fill it in? How do I create the impact and the influence? And so that'll come in later classes, but I wanted to put that in the end of our class today, because that's required. The
Awesome.
attractive character.
This is good stuff, man.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that it is a journey. You mentioned that it could be a 2 to 5 year, and a lot of people don't like hearing that. So many of us or our students are like, "Man, I need money now," but the reality is, you needed money 2 years ago. You needed money 5 years ago, and if you were to learn, put this stuff in practice, this is the kind of stuff. This is what we call, the broke. This is a broke killer. This is a poor killer. It kills the notion of being broke and poor. and if you want to eradicate poverty from your life, this is the stuff that Artemis is teaching you. And it may take, just like we go to school for 4 years, it may take a degree to do it. And having the right mentors can cut a big learning curve off if you're willing to do what it takes. Like when you have a student like Mina, for example, she just cut like a 3-year learning curve off, and she was like, "Nah, I don't want to learn. I just want to be successful." So she got success her first year, following our system, our specific system that we've created, Artemis and I. So, it doesn't have to take 2 to 5 years, but don't be afraid if it does. It doesn't matter, because this is something that once you get it right, this is for life. This is for life. You'll be successful for life. So,
yeah, and I'll mention a little bit about Teachability Index too, because the Teachability Index is connected to building character and a brand identity.
yeah.
And Knolly did a great class on this on our YouTube channel. And also, one of our students asked, "Can you put the five deadly fears up again?" I just posted them in the chat. So those are the 5 deadly fears that we will overcome. And remember, as you're overcoming these fears, there are octaves. Unconsciousness, apathy, grief, fear, anger, pain, enthusiasm, to the next level of unconsciousness, fear, next level of unconsciousness, fear. So every level has its devil. Thank God we have the Wolf Lighthouse. Even for Knolly, moving from yellow to green to blue in different parts of his business, he's got a system. He's got a roadmap. Roger built it for all entrepreneurs on the planet. So it's nice to have that direction, that we can grow into. And every level has its devil. So just when you overcome the fear of being seen at one level, guess what? There's another fear of being seen, and then another, and then another. And how much faith is it going to take? All of God in you.
Yeah.
All of God.
All of God to bring out all of the best that you
have. Yeah. It's like our spiritual anchor in God. I am that I am. Why and who. And the challenging thing we have as entrepreneurs is when and where. That's what's been missing in most business curriculums, is the when and the where. And that's the beauty of Wealth Dynamics Profile blended with the Lighthouse, is now we have the whole holographic model of moving up the stairway to heaven. So looking at the care, Knolly was saying, this is a broke killer. This is a poor killer, because How long is it going to take to become a celebrity? 2 to 5 years. And yet it is the most important thing, according to Uncle Knolly, to become successful, to become a celebrity. And I agree with him. And it's actually in the Wolf Lighthouse, it's yellow level.
You know,
So
a
when
lot
you
of
think
people,
about
Artemis,
that,
when I say that, it doesn't make sense to them at first, and they kind of reject it a little bit. So I have to kind of explain. But I remember I went to a retreat one time, and a very spiritual lady, uh, like a lot of places that we go, very spiritual people. And she was like, "Well, what is the number one secret that you're going to teach today?" And you know, it was this very spiritual atmosphere, and people were talking about chakras and other concepts. And I said, "To become famous." she looked back and she says, interesting. You know, a lot of people don't get this, but the reality is, if you want to do work on this planet, people have to know who you are. And you got to become known. And, you know, God actually is the one that does, he's the one that actually does the work, but you've got to do the initial work. So,
yeah. And there's a movement of character, that we develop up the lighthouse. And I think the challenge for a lot of us at red and orange levels, and Kenneth Trahan, the guy I showed you earlier, 17 years in real estate at orange level, 17 years, never built a brand identity, never built systems to leverage and scale. He was just comfortable. And that's the danger, guys, is comfort. When you listen to Your Wish is Your Command, KT talks about, like, what are you willing to give up? Because to become more teachable and to move from orange to yellow, you're going to give something up that is comfortable to you. And you're going to make a sacrifice. Sacrifice comes from the word sacrificium in Latin, which means to make sacred. So like, this is where I as a coach get to really test my clients. Like, each one of those people I showed you, Kathy and Ken and Lisa, I asked them several times during my coaching program, what are you willing to give up? What are you willing to put on the altar of God to build this brand identity? Because most of you right now are too comfortable. Now, we're not talking about hustle. We're not talking about working 80 hours a week. It's just you have to make some decisions to grow into a celebrity. You get to decide. You get to give some things up temporarily to build your brand. And then when you get to yellow, you're designer again. You go from driver to designer, driver, designer. And each level of the lighthouse, you have to give something up that you're really attached to. And that's the great paradox of business development. And you don't know what that is. I guarantee you, 99% of you do not know what you need to give up right now. But I'll help you find it out in about 10 minutes. And teachability index, what's your willingness to learn, what's your willingness to accept change, and are you teachable enough to become a celebrity? We'll see. We'll see, because I know some of you right now, I'm pulling at your heartstrings. I'm pulling at my own heartstrings. I'm doing this myself with all of you. And I love it. I love staying a little uncomfortable each day. It's just, but I don't stay too uncomfortable because I know my zone of genius. I know where my flow is. I know what I love. And so that self-awareness is key. And yet you don't stay comfortable. You go through the eye of the needle. You have to get enthusiastic. And you also need to make some temporary sacrifices at orange level to get to yellow. And for some of you watching right now, the question is, what do you want to give up? I remember KT was coaching one of his colleagues, and KT was presenting a new business opportunity to this man, and it was a multi-million-dollar opportunity. And the guy came back to Kevin after a couple of days of thinking. He's like, Kevin, I'm giving up golf. And Kevin was like, he knew he was serious about this business plan. Because this man, and now the guy said, I'm giving up golf for a year. He put a timeline on it. He's like, Kevin, I'm giving up golf for a year. And then Kevin knew that he was teachable. Kevin knew he was willing to grow. And so the question, what do you want to give up, is unique for each one of you. And giving it up, making that sacrifice, putting it on the altar of God and say, I'm just going to put this down for a while so I can go out and do the brand and the videos and the actions and become the attractive character and go out and do the things that I know is required. And then you can pick it back off the altar and play with it again if you want to. but we're all going to make a temporary sacrifice. That's temporary, and yet it's that commitment, it's that character, it's it's that what I'm trying to communicate doesn't really have words, but I'm trying to find the words for it. And it's not hustle, guys. This is about flow and purpose and passion and character. It's a different quality. Um, and this is why Knolly and I are here in our life, because Knolly and I strive to model these qualities to you, so that you can see what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, and know that it doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to take a long time, and it doesn't have to be a struggle. But there is a better way to do business, and there's a clear way now on the planet to do business for all of us.
Hey, Artemis. So I know
Yeah.
we're coming to the close, but Joanna had a question, and I've got a thought on it. Wanted to see what you think. She said, "Is there a chart that summarizes ways to become famous by type, dynamo, steel, etc.?" Now, this is my thought, and I want to see what your thought is. I love to create charts and systems and tools and things like this. At the same time, I'm very cognizant and aware that the teacher can't overproduce. So I kind of feel like Joanna may be overthinking this a little bit,
I
Artemis.
agree. Yeah, I totally agree, because when you look at the Wolf Lighthouse, if you're at red level, master where you are and get to orange. You don't need a map for a yellow level dynamo genius if you're at red level in your influence and impact. Just build the identity and get to orange. And then when you get to orange, get to yellow. So you basically Roger's system is whole and complete. In the principle of it, you get to find out in your industry how to apply it. But use the principles of the 4 zones of genius, and then use the actions Roger takes and recommends you take moving from orange to yellow, and yet apply it to your industry, and keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple, and it's going to feel right to you if it's in your zone of genius. It's going to feel like the right answer.
Yeah.
So we don't want to overthink this, and we don't want to do the work for you, because there's a certain satisfaction that you're going to get in doing this work yourself. The student came to the teacher and said, "Hey," the teacher told him a parable, and he didn't quite understand the parable. And the teacher said, "Well, I've given you the apple. Do you want me to masticate it for you as well? In other words, do you want me to take that apple, bite it, chew it up for you, and give you the chewed up version?" So sometimes when Artemis and I come to you, we give you an apple, but it's up to you to bite it and chew it up and disseminate it for yourself, to put this into practice. Hopefully that makes sense for people.
Yeah, and also Nolly's talking about time on task over time. Just do the work at orange level, and then master it, and then in the doing of it, God will give you the insight because you're ready, as you do the work. So there's there's a lot of humility involved in this conversation, and humility is part of our growth, for sure.
Yeah. So several. Mary's saying she's got a question about Mentorship Masters. It looks like Linda has. She said, "I would love to set up a consultation." So what I would say, guys, if there was another Mentorship Master that invited you to this meeting, reach out to them. If not, reach out to Artemis, and he'll share with you about Mentorship Masters. That's our real estate group, where we've taken many real estate agents and helped them succeed at astronomical levels. But find a mentor. That's the whole key that we're trying to get to you, is that you can't do this alone. Don't try to do it on your own. Don't wake up 3 years from now and say, "Crap, Knolly and Artemis told me not to do it on my own, and I did. Now I need a mentor." Don't do it that way. Just trust us on that. So, and by the way, Knolly.com, KNOLLY.com is how you join this group. It's an absolutely free group where we meet. We try to meet every single week, and we help you to succeed. And also, if you have a question about flow consultation, you can go to artemisprime.com. Artemis with 2 T's.
I put it
Artemis
in the chat.
Prime.
Yeah.
You wrote in the chat. Cool.
I did. Yeah.
So if you're on YouTube, you don't see the chat, but
Oh, right.
artemisprime.com, baby. All right.
Yeah. That's ARTTEMIS prime.com. And Knolly and I are here for you all every Thursday. Come join us, bring friends, Let's build this conscious community aligned in our zone of genius, powered by God, Christ-centered, on the path of least resistance. Let's do this.
All right, unmute yourself and say goodbye, y'all. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Knolly. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
She's so
Thank
cute.
you very much.
Thank you
Bye.
so much, guys.
Great job, Miss. You rocked it, man.
Yeah, you sure did, Artemis. That was amazing.
Zion, who you got with you, Zion?
This is my youngest, Marisol.
Marisol. Hi, Marisol. You're so cute.
Hi.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Uncle Nolly.
Hi, Uncle Knolly.